We're going to continue on today with supernatural encountering of the Lord, manifestation, and sacrificing ourselves. So 2 Timothy 2:11, here is a trustworthy saying, if we died with him, we will also live with him. Everyone wants to experience resurrection power, but nobody wants to die. Resurrection power is needed because of the death experience. Okay? It's not just talking about physical death here, it's also talking about the breaking of your own will. And handing yourself over to be used by God as a servant and as a vessel, which means you might not get credit for it, which is why we have to be humble. And it might not always be the fun thing to do. But in eternity, you can look back and know that you were faithful, and that's the thing that's important. Okay? Luke 18:8b. When the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? So what he's really saying is, how many true believers do we really have at any one point? Will I even find faith? Many will come to him and say, Lord, didn't we cast out devils, heal the sick, and do miracles? And he says, I never knew you. Depart from me. Okay, so in those people, the name of Jesus has power, so obviously they're doing their works and stuff, but look how they approached him. The way they approach him is telling us about their relationship with him, or lack thereof, while they were here on earth. They're saying, didn't I do this? Didn't I do that? Instead of, you did this for me, so that. You know what I mean? And he's saying, I never knew you, because he doesn't. Because they didn't take the time. And we don't want to be that person that has to realize, oh, I never took the time to cultivate a relationship with the one who made me, because he wants relationship with me. He doesn't answer the question, will I find faith? Because he wants us to be diligent. It's really up to us, right? So if he were to come back right now, I can confidently say, yes, he will find faith on the earth, because I know I have the faith of, a mustard seed, which has sprouted. It's a plant. It's more than, it might be a little plant like this, but all you need is a mustard seed, which is really tiny. And he's cultivated faith in me as I've walked with him, and I know faithful people, people who put things aside, put their lives aside, put their material things aside to follow in his footsteps, to do what he asked them to do. So at this point in time, if he were to come back right now, yes, he would find faith on the earth. It is entirely up to us. On my watch, while I'm here on earth, he's never going to be able to say, there was no faith. I looked all over and I didn't find one, because there is at least one. And if we all have that attitude, then there's a whole bunch, and we don't know how many there are. We could feel like I'm the only one. But Elijah felt like that, right? He was like, oh God, I'm the only one left who hasn't departed from your word. And God had to tell him, actually, I spared 7,000. There's plenty more. You can't really be friends with the world, because how can two walk together unless they agree, right? You can be kind to them, you can explain things to them, care for them, take time, but you can't be best buddies with the world, because at some point you're going to split, or you're always going to be butting heads, because how can two walk together unless they agree, right? So they're going to do this, and this goes against your values and morals, or you want to live this way, and they're like, that's boring, or why would you do that? That's not the fun way to do stuff, You can't be the way it is today and be effective, right? So if we're trying to win the world by being like the world, you're not going to be effective. Why would they want to be like you when you're being like them? No, people want what they see, authenticity and results. What they see is authentic. What they see is genuine. What they see you have a passion for. You can't convince everyone, and Jesus didn't try to convince everyone. We lay the truth out. Hey, this is what it is. You like it? Come on. You don't like it? It's okay. Go on about your business. Jesus, yeah. Okay. Everyone seems to manage, but unless it's really a clean-cut separation from the world, you're not going to experience everything that's promised to you, because of the lukewarmness, and it needs to be addressed, okay? The first thought that's coming to my mind right now is Moses. Moses made a clean cut. He went up the mountain. Everybody else was afraid to go up the mountain. He went up there, and when he came down, his face was shining. He didn't even know it. He was just hanging out with God. So birds of a feather, right? Whoever you're hanging out with all the time, that's who you're going to be like. So Moses came down like the one he was spending time with. And down there, Aaron was his brother. He was the priest. Miriam was his sister. She was the prophetess. They were people of God. All of them actually were God's people because they were the Israelites in the wilderness. But a little leaven leavens the whole loaf. So those who were down there who did not make the clean-cut separation were worshiping false gods and doing what the crowd was doing, because when there is a crowd, there is momentum gained. And people don't even mean to stampede people sometimes, but that's just the way it's going. And by the time you step on the person, you can't do anything about it. You can't stop. And if you stop to help them, you get stampeded too. If you were in that type of situation. So Joshua went up. He didn't go quite up as far as Moses, as far as remembering. It's been a long time since I've read this. But I know he did go up a certain pace. So he was still separated. He didn't go as high as Moses at that time. But he was separated, a clean cut from the world. He was not down there with them participating in that stuff. James 4:4, you adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity against God? Therefore, whoever chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. And that's even if you're God's people, right? If you're an Israelite, if you're, if we were talking Old Testament, but right now, if we call ourselves Christians, oh yes, I accepted Christ. Oh yes, I did, I got baptized. Okay, but what kind of fruit are you bearing? Because don't forget, we know the tree by its fruit. Okay, and all this that we're going through is to work out, and God says that I'll till your heart, right? So if we have rocks and thorns in there that are keeping us from experiencing the supernatural encounters, that's what these little videos segments are about right now, is figuring out within us, if I'm not experiencing this, then what is it? What are some things in the way? We're troubleshooting, okay? I'm not doing this to you. We always have to take inventory of ourselves. So if we choose to be a friend of the world, which is different than caring and kindness and praying for and being the hands and feet of God on the earth, but just sitting there, and I think we understand that. Let me keep going. We become an enemy of God. Those people down there worshiping the golden calf and all that stuff were enemies of God at that time. And Moses was so mad when he came down and he felt the passion and the zeal of the Lord, and God saved you and God did this and that for you, and you're in here acting like this. You couldn't wait just a little bit of time, and he broke the stone tablets, right? He broke the law. So let's see. This is the tearing and the pain you feel when people don't want to go on. They compromise and think it's okay. They're really wasting their life and parts of other people's lives too, because we need each other. In my own life, I found, he lets the wheat and the tares grow together. Because if you take them apart too soon, then the wheat will die, and we don't want that. He wants the wheat to live and thrive and be strong enough before it is separated from the chaff, or the false. And so we can't walk with them, and whenever we do come to that point where we are strong enough that it's not going to kill us for God to get rid of these people, or for us to be strong enough to take those steps and say, hey, our lives are going in different directions, or God has called me this way, or straight up you're doing this and that. However you separate from the people, it hurts. Because there are soul ties. There are true love in the heart. If you are of the Lord, then the love is true, whether it's for your friend, for a stranger, for your family. It doesn't really matter the situation. It's going to hurt. The reality of this is you need to denounce the world. The reality of this is you need to accept Jesus Christ fully, which means you need to be like him. Have this mind that was in him, and he was a servant. Be completely devoted to him and what he wants. This may mean you have to walk away from what you want. And I have a lot more points, of course, but I think 10 minutes seems to be a really good stopping place for us. So I'm going to stop right there on this one. One positive thing I will say, we have to have it in our heart and our mind that it's okay to give up what we want. When you start a family, when you start a job, whatever situation you find yourself in, when it comes to serving others, we have to give up. Say say when you were in school, you got a whole entire summer to just do whatever it was that you wanted to do, you know, and then when you started a job, you had to give that part up and you had to find time, increments instead of entire summers, increments of doing those things that you want to do. And then you have to prioritize and what actually is the things that I want to do in my rest time. Constant partying, if that was one of the things, it takes a toll and you need recuperation time. So if you spend your whole weekend or your whole evenings that after work partying, then you never get any recuperation time. Then you have to prioritize, because if you try to serve one, which is your job, but you also try to serve your partying ways, one of them is going to take over. You become a junkie, or you lose the partying, or you limit it and bring it way down in order to be able to still maintain a professional lifestyle, be able to do your job well. Okay, so the encouragement though that I will say is, when we give things up for the Lord, He brings them back around to us in fullness once we are made complete. Once we have gone through our fire, our affliction, or our time of serving others, or and we're always going to serve others. But I'm saying, if you gave up your dream and your passion to do something the Lord called you in an opposite direction, He will bring it back to you. And it will be wonderful, and you will be better equipped and able to handle it and maneuver that dream of yours by the time you get back to it. Okay? So, God bless you.